Thank you. Let's give it another hand for Marina. Let's put our hands together. Awesome. Thank you so much. I will do it. Thank you very much. Well, tere. Здравствуйте. That's Estonian and Russian, by the way. Yeah. English, yeah? English today. Great, because that's my language. So, and kapkunka, Thailand? No? And, what other language do we have here? Someone said to me, konnichiwa. Someone from Japan here. All right, so, yeah, let's make sure this is working. I'm just going to open it one more time, because it's a different program for me, you know, so I'm not so used to this Windows, but we'll get it right, don't worry. But did you enjoy your breakfast? I can't hear anybody. Is anybody in the room? Am I talking to myself? Maybe? Yeah. It's quite slow, this computer. It's a little... Here we go. But I don't hear any sound. Let's see. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, tere. My name is Renee, as she quite rightly said, and she gave me this lovely chair. But it's a bit weird, so it's bouncy. It's nice, but it's very comfortable. But I don't think I'll need that today. I'll just let the plant have it. There we go. So yeah, I'm Renee, as she so rightly said, and this day is a day that I've been waiting for my entire life. Really. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's something I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and I'm very pleased to be here. Thankfully, Creative Mornings have blessed me to be here today, invited me. I'm very grateful. And also, just want to say how amazing it is to have all of you guys here together, right? How awesome is that? How great. Woo, woo! You know, I need to get you a bit more fired up, I think. We're going to do a little something. I don't know how many of you are Tony Robbins fans. Whoa! Can we try it? We just clap our hands together and go, whoa! That's right. We're going to get fired up today. Tony Robbins fans in here. I know somebody here. My life coach, he's meeting him next week. You already met him once, right? Awesome guy. So yeah, like I said, it's great to be here. It's been one of my dreams to be standing in front of you all, lovely faces, lovely friendly faces. And I couldn't have hoped for a better morning, really, to start my morning like this, you know. A lot of you know that I am an artist, a musician, entertainer, however you like to call it. But there is a lot more to me, which you'll discover along the way. There's many things in life that we face. And thank you for giving me one of the hardest topics, Creative Mornings, to discuss equality today. Hey? It's a tough one. But I think I'm knowledgeable enough to expand on this a little bit. So we have something here called We Can Do It, Motivating, Inspiring Youth Through Creative Arts. That's one of my own projects that I started up many, many years ago. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But, you know, I'm constantly in an abundance and an array of people, of creative people, inspiring people, innovative people, artistic people like yourselves here today. I believe you are creative, right? And I like to call you, no, don't take this the wrong way, Martians, yeah? No, really, like myself, because we don't quite fit in, but then we're not quite out of place either, really, are we? Because we are creative, right? We make stuff happen. We do, in our own way. And so, because of our Martian-like ways, we do think differently, don't we? I mean, we don't think like the normal, ordinary, inverted commas, people, you know? And, well, that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Because we all have our opinions and we all have our knowledge and ways of explaining things, you see. And so I'm really thankful and happy to be here today with so many creative, like-minded people. Aren't we all like-minded, right? Because we're all here this morning. Rare, right? It's very rare. But you're all here, and I thank you for that. So why am I here? Why am I here, really? Ask yourself the question. I'd like you to digest it just for a moment. Think about answering that question for yourself. It's a question that I constantly get asked on a day-to-day basis. And believe me, I'm constantly asked this. In fact, I'm asked this so much that if I got $1 million or pounds or euros for every time somebody asked me this, I would be a billionaire by now. Really, I would. I'd be richer than Oprah Winfrey. yeah, I would. But really, thankfully, I've learned really now how to answer this question in the most concise and the most direct and the most eloquent way that I possibly could. Yeah? Because it's not easy, this question. It may be clueless to you. It's not even just, why am I here in Estonia? Weird. It's why are we here in this world together? Why are we here? You know? And I always knew from the age of 5 that I knew I wanted to sing. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to be the next Tina Turner, the next Janet Jackson or Whitney Houston, whoever the iconic person is of the world of my day. And I always knew I was going to be a singer. I was very shy. Yeah, I was a very shy person. But firstly, I want to share with you a video, actually, of why I got invited here today. This is very documented video. So we're going to take a moment and just have a look.
Why did I decide to do this video? This video is simply because of all the things that are around me. What do I mean by the things that are around me? What I mean is the people and the experiences.
That's Uku Savisti, by the way, very popular, rich, handsome man I got to work with.
Or done. You see, I realized quite some time ago now that walking my journey and my path can really help to help another person's life and journey and their path. Because if I walk the path before others, that can help them. Because I will know where all the stones and the rocks are. I will already know where the sticks and the twigs that can trip you may lay. And that can be really helpful to another person's journey who may be walking the path that you walk, or something similar. I've been having some very interesting experiences during my life, and I often get asked, how old am I? And I always laugh at this question and make the joke, well, you can decide, or you can try to figure it out. It doesn't matter in years how long you have walked earth. What it requires for you is to remember and imagine the soul that is within yourself. What has it experienced in the time that you have been here? And some people,
it can be a lifetime. So yeah, that was my video. There's a full documentary of it on YouTube. You can check it out in your own time. But that's the reason why I was brought here today. Thank you, Marina. And you know, I have worked with a lot of children over the years. I have an education degree. I have 2 degrees, actually, one in music and one in education studies. So I'm a qualified teacher, and I've been working all through my life in schools, in the country, around the world. I started off as a support teacher, working with special needs, working with disabled, both mental and physical. I learned how to deal with a child in a wheelchair day to day, getting around the school. Imagine that. And you know, I always knew that I wanted to sing. I always knew that I wanted to perform, and I had an outlet through music, although I was shy. And I knew that that was going to lead me somewhere, but I never actually thought it would ever lead me to where I am right here today, which is very awesome. But this is London. This is where I'm from. This is the kind of thing you expect this hustle, bustle, busy place that everybody loves to go and visit. Oh, you're from London, that's amazing. Oh my God, that's so many opportunities. Oh wow, you know, I can wake up 24/7, anything you want, go get it. 24/7, 7-Eleven. Those are the kind of things you find in London, but you see, those are the kind of things that are also a big distraction in my life and why I decided to change my life. Yes, I came from a very privileged country, the city of opportunity, but it doesn't mean that everything was there for me. See, I went through a lot of times of atrocities, of difficulties, of stress, of depression, of times of people stamping on me, of pushing me down. I had a very good job in London. As I said, I was very educated. I went to private schools, public schools. I went to 2 universities, met a lot of different people. But I was still lost. I was still lonely. I was still struggling to find something. I had a dream. Anybody know? Don't say it yet. But somebody said, I have a dream. I had a dream. We all have dreams, don't we? Yeah? We have ambition. We have drive. I had a dream. I wanted to change my life. I always knew I wanted to change the world, not just my life. You know, because it's bigger than that. It's bigger than me. I wanted to do and make a difference. And I thought I could do it with kids, with youth. That's why I set up my We Can Do It movement. I didn't want to educate and motivate adults because we're just all overgrown people, aren't we? We're just all overgrown bodies with childlike minds, childlike mentalities. I mean, look at Donald Trump, for Christ's sake. You know, just certain people in life, they think that they've got it all going for them, that they've worked it out. But really, still child, still making mistakes, still developing. So I thought educating the youths and using my passion, which was creativity, would lead the next generation to inspire them to make better adults for tomorrow so that we wouldn't keep making the same mistakes over again. Because I have many testimonials from youngsters who I taught from infant to teenager. Now they're young adults who could testify that because of my help with them. Martin Luther King, did you all think it? Yeah? Well done, well done. Yeah. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King had a dream, and he wanted to create, he lived and died for equality, right? We all need equality in life. We can't be excluded from society. There's many traits of equality. We can dissect them all, and I want you to think about that as well. But he had a dream that all people, man, woman, child, dog, woman, cat, there's a dog in here somewhere I saw earlier, and we would be equal. In America, in the 60s, early 30s, 40s, for black people, it was very difficult to get through in life. You were always pushed down. Like I said, I was very educated, living in London, had a managerial salary. I was on good wage, what you would say the average norm for a youngster like me in their 30s. But I was not doing so good because a lot of people, you see, I was a natural born leader. I was meant to be somebody that made progression, and some people, they fear that. Yeah? Some people think that you're stepping on their toes. They don't want you to outshine them, and I was always doing that in my job. So that's why I knew I couldn't work for somebody. I had to work for myself. I had to find my own business. So I started to think about that, and I started to discover what could I do. Because when I was in London, you see, I was always almost the only black person in their firm who was going for a managerial role, and I almost got it, but there were people trying to set me up. There were people trying to push me down, trying to inclinate that I had done something out of the ordinary. So love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. I bet that's right. Some friends, some foes, you know, I've come to Estonia and I've met a lot of people. I had people walk in my life, I've had people walk out of my life. And I'm thankful for them. It's a shame that some of them are not here today, but some of them are. And I'm really happy to see that. Because you see, equality, what does it mean to you? Somebody tell me, put your hand up. Equality, what's equality? Anybody know? It's like social, gender, racial equality, you know, equal rights for man, a woman, gay, straight, homosexual, transgender, anything. That's what we're all fighting for. That's what we're still fighting for today. Thankfully, we've moved on from Martin Luther King Jr.'s day, but I tell you, we still got a bit more to go. Because I walk the streets and I still get called monkey, nigger in my face. And I have to put a brave heart skin on, tens of skins, layers, and rise above that. Because there's people with lots of different opinions, you see. Not all everybody thinks like we do. But that's okay. I had to learn to rise above, make friends with the enemy, you know. When I first came to Estonia, it wasn't always rosy, as we say in England. You know, it wasn't all teas, cups and roses. I had to fight my way through. I was here independently. And I want to share another video with you which exemplifies exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's the video. So let's watch it. Hopefully it continues to play because it seems to have paused. It's in memory of Michael Jackson. I'm sure everybody knows who that is. Well, let's see. I've had a little... Oh, we're in suspense, people. Could you help me out a little bit here? I just need to get rid of this. No. Oh, it's frozen. Frozen. I had a dream. What's going on here? We'll try again. But like I said, he was traveling around a lot of places. Hope we don't stop at the same part. And I guess he met a lot of people from a lot of different places, right? And it's very interesting. When I saw this video, I really, really, really had to share it with you. It's done it again. How do we get rid of this taskbar here? What's that do? No. You have YouTube. But maybe I just want to get rid of this taskbar because I can press play from here, you see, but it's technology, still working on it. You see this window? Because I want to play from here. Here we go. Control freak, I will just say that. And I did say to them I'd happily use my laptop because it wouldn't do stuff like that because I don't like Windows, this thing here. Mac, who's got a Mac? Hands raised, high in the sky. Do we all know what we're talking about when we use this kind of technology, right? Yeah, exactly. So love should be our religion. Love should be our religion, right? It doesn't matter what kind of religion you are. And please, change slide. It's okay, I'll try. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we got to take a leap of faith, you know. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole stairway. You see, like I was telling you before the video, I had many atrocities, struggles, and rejection. When I came to Estonia, I was first visiting because I had friends in London because we're very multicultural people. And I was living with some Russians and some Ukrainians and some Estonians. And they told me, come to Estonia. So I did. When I first came, I was so impressed with the country. I said, you know what? This is the life for me in a nutshell. So I decided to pack up my things because I was really, really down where I was in London. I was making good money. I was living in a mansion house, believe it or not, with 5 people. Yeah, I was still unhappy. I was working with children. I was changing lives. I was developing them. I was using my creativity, and yet I still was not getting the recognition I wanted or the praise or just the gratification. So I moved to Estonia, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do my music because that's my dream. That's always been my dream for 5 years old. That's what I know how to do. And it wasn't easy to do that because I had family. Everybody has family of some sort. And I had to leave them behind. And I remember the first time I came back from visiting London, I had run out of money. And my mother was in hospital. She was dying, actually. She was near death a few times. And I, at this point, fallen out with my father because I had called him up. And I said, Dad, I don't have any money to get back to Bedfordshire. I'm in London. And he was so angry with me, so angry, because my mother was laying in hospital, fighting for her life, and there I was dilly-dallying around making mistakes. You see, one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed that all men are created equal, right? But life was not so equal for me at times. And like I said, I was struggling. I was in impoverished situations, hungry sometimes. But my hunger overcame the hunger I had. I had hunger to fight and survive and be successful. It was way more bolder. So when I realized what I had done and made all these mistakes that I was making, that my father saw I was making, that's why he was upset with me, that I was choosing to uproot and live in London where I could barely afford. Thankfully, my friends of the time, and some of them still are today, put me up in their house and said, yeah, you can stay here, find yourself a job, you know, do what you can do. And that's what I did. I fought my way. I lost 2 jobs, 2 great jobs, because of my mother being in hospital. Not that I blame her at all. It's just I couldn't cope with the stress. I couldn't cope with that. So I went to visit my mum and I said, Mum, I'm going to move to Estonia. I already said that to them, threatened them a couple of times. They did say, no, you're not going. You're not going there. We don't want you to go there. Well, I said, I want to go. Sorry, I have to do this. I have to do this. It's my dream. You know, I know my path. Some people are still waking up and thinking, what is their path? But I knew. I didn't know how. I just knew. And you see, Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Anyone who's ever made a mistake has never tried anything new. Right? So we can make mistakes. I made the mistakes. Thankfully now my mother is out of hospital. She's been doing fine for a good number of years now. It's been 2 years. Yes, 2 years, coming up 3 since I've been here. My mum's out of hospital. Father's well. Family's doing great. And now, finally, through the trials and the troubles. See, I went through something when I first came here, actually, because I opened my big mouth. And I actually went viral for the first time in my life when I got to Estonia. I went viral. Can you imagine that? On the internet, on social media. Glory be to God. But, you know, I went viral because I had an incident where I went to a club one night and I went to see my friends, support them. They were DJing and I was invited as a VIP. And I was stopped at the door and I was searched and what have you, got through that part, went to enjoy my friends. And then suddenly I was told by the bouncer, you're not welcome here. And I said, what do you mean? I'm not welcome here. He said, no, you got to leave. And I started to think in my head, I can't understand this questioning. I didn't do anything wrong. I hadn't been drinking, I hadn't been smoking, I hadn't been doing nothing. I just stood there. He said, okay, you got to leave. And I said, why? Is it this skin? Yes, he replied. So you can imagine the shock I felt, because I felt I was back in the 60s. Really? Really? I come from London. You know? Every man must decide whether he will walk in light of creative and altruism or in the darkness and destructive selfishness. I wasn't selfish. I left that place. I said, okay, fine. And then I talked about it with my friends, and then my friends were so distraught and annoyed and couldn't fathom that people would have this kind of way of thinking, but some people do. Some people do. And so there it went. The trickle, the trail led up to these drops that led into a big tidal wave. And as I said, I went viral, went to London, UK, America, Russia, Finland, journalists all over the place sending me messages. We want to know your story. We want to know your story. What happened? What happened? You know, and some of these people were criminals. Do you think I really wanted to be outed out into the universe? Oh, this girl is against these criminals. And I was. And I was scared for my life at times, because I tell you, walking in a country where you've not been born and then you've got people calling you kind of names and you've got to walk transport, I thought I might get beaten up. People were coming up to me. Russians. Здравствуйте. Go. But not always, you see. Some will give me side eyes. So there were people I knew of that were getting beaten up in the street, that were getting abused. And so it was very difficult. But you know what I did? I just shined on through and I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this negative cloud outshine what I came here to do. I'm going to show everybody that I'm not that kind. I'm the kind of person that's going to change. For you to see the whole video, but I think you can go online. You can see his name is Mac Milmore. And you can watch the entire video there, but it's a great message. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Renee, for this morning inspiration. And so we have questions part. Raise your hands if you have questions.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, is it Roman?
Roman, yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So how was your life in the end of exit after you moved in Estonia? You've been here for 3
Yeah.
Yes, already. Can
Yeah.
you name like the most striking ways in way as your life was changed, and probably you can touch again on this equality
Sure.
bit.
Yeah, it's a lot to sum up in 30 minutes, but basically I went out, I met people. You know, I had some friends here, some of them, like I said, not here with me today, but I met people and I decided no matter what, even though I was in my 14 square meter, 1-bedroom apartment at the time when I first came, I said, I'm not going to be confined to these four walls, you know. I'm going to get out there. And although I felt I had failed when I first came here, I did. I was almost at the edge of giving up. I said, you know what? My friend said to me, make the best of it that you can, you know, and don't be a failure. Do what you can and make sure you succeed at it. And so I did. And the way I did that is I just went out. I told my story, as this journalist knows, Maxim. And I went to Parnu. That was when I told my story several times. And then after this, things started to pick up. You know, journalists were interested in me. I was doing gigs, and those gigs grew. And eventually now I'm working with the top producers here in LA. I've got Hollywood contacts. I've got actors know me. I'm doing some great projects right now. And not only that, but I created an online community. So I have motivation group page, which you can all join for free. And I often share positive affirmations, videos and such. So that's how I turned my life around, basically. I just was determined to just throw out positivity constantly every day. And that's it. And then from there, people learned about my craft, learned about my talent. And the rest is as it is. You know, Google me, you'll find out for yourself. Thank you. Great question.
Any more questions? Okay.
So hi.
Hey.
Usually it is said that the change comes from within, that no matter where you are or what you do, but what has changed inside?
For me?
Yes.
Thank you. Good question. I think my confidence. Like I said, I was downtrodden. There was times where I wasn't accepted, even in the workplace. And there were people fighting for my corner. And, you know, thankfully I have a good family and a good team of people that surround me that encourage me daily. Even days I'm on the phone crying. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. And then a little voice inside says, come on, Renee, come on. What did you come here for? What did you waste all your time? You had no money. Now you're here doing what you're doing. Think about it. So I just do gratitude on a daily basis, thanks to my life coach here. He's here with me today. Thanks for the support. And I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for every morning. Actually, I do it in this very book that I have up here with me. It's very easy. It's just a notepad, ordinary notepad, but I have affirmations in here. I have my life goals. I have my forward goals, my 1-month goal, my daily plan. And I look at that and I think about all the things I'm grateful for, just as simple as breathing air or health. So when I first came here, all I was thinking about, I got to get on. You know, I got to fight. I got to survive. As a woman, I'm a survivor. You know, I had to do all that. And then eventually, when things settled down, I said, okay, what am I grateful for? And I started to think about that. And as more people cheered me on, rather than the naysayers, oh, she can't do that, I used all of that knowledge and all of that faith to become more confident. And I sought a life coach, which I highly, highly recommend. It's not common here in Estonia, but it is in America and also trickling on in the UK and other countries. Find yourself a decent life coach. That person that's going to push you on, motivate you. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Tony Robbins, you can do it. You know, yes, as he says. Yes. Yes. That's what I do. And now, that's why I'm able to be here. Don't think I wasn't nervous. I'm always nervous. I'm always afraid I'm going to fail. That's why I'm a control freak. That's why things go wrong. And even when they go wrong, you just look forward. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
As usual, if anyone needs to leave because it's before like working time, of course, we are fine with it. You can leave. And do we have any more questions? Because I have also one. If I can ask. So thank you, Renee. And I would like to ask you, as you are working in jazz and hip hop, like this is also culture and this is also the communities. Do you think like these styles and people who are working there how they arise the topic of equality, like through this music. It's also like you can talk for 30 minutes or more and think about it.
As long as you have time.
But
I always got time. Yeah.
this is
Great
it.
question. Great question. And I just wanted to point out, if anyone is leaving, I have some cards there, some calling cards. Please feel free to take one. There's plenty there for all of you today. If you want to learn more about me or if you want to connect and network, 'cause it's great. There's so many, an array of different skilled people here, so I would love to get to know you all. But great question. Really good, great questions today. Thank you. Question was hip hop and, culture. It's an interesting one because there is stigmas around this particular genre. I've grown up learning classical, believe it or not. I studied classical music, you know, Stravinsky, Chopin, you know, all these, Beethoven, all these greats, Chopin, you know. And then I grew into the cultural society of hip-hop, yes. My dad used to listen to Biggie and Tupac and Lost Boys and all of that. You know, I know about all that scene. And they were always fighting for equality, believe it or not. They were. And I think there is some goodness and bad in everything. You know, there's positive and negative. We can't have one without the other. You know, yin and yang. We have to have a mixture. So I actually do make hip-hop music now. I do an array of music, actually. I don't stick to one box because I can't live in a box. So I often switch around and I collaborate. Actually, I don't know if anybody hip-hop fans in here, but Onyx, a legendary hip-hop group from the Bronx, most gangster-like people, I met them. I was actually a support act for their concert here in Estonia. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that came. It was a sold-out concert. I helped promote it, and I also performed. And I met them face-to-face from the Bronx. You know, I met a couple of people from the Bronx. They're very rough. They're very gangster. But inside there's a soul and there's a heart, you know? And all they want to do is survive and be accepted. And yeah, these messages have been muddied in the water by politics. Let's get it right. See, people on the ground don't think about muddying and destroying and polluting the government, polluting the society. They believe in freedom of speech. That's all hip-hop really is. That's all rap really means. So when I create my stories, which you can check out, it's called Illusion, the pop group, hip-hop group. I don't even know what to call it, to be honest with you. I don't like labels, really. We talk about life. We talk about struggles, talk about triumphs, you know, and when you check out our music, we've already released one, and it's going on SD Top 7, I believe this week, on the 4th, we'll be on TV, and you can vote, please vote, for the video to go number 1. And it's called What I Like. You say what you like, what you want to say, and that's my line. Say what you want to say, and have freedom of speech, yeah? So I feel like there are some bad rap out there. I don't like this new mumble rap, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. Doesn't say anything to me. There are some good beats, banging beats behind it. I know some producers behind it, some very famous ones. And I say, I like your beats. But I prefer people to speak knowledge, mentally educate, mentally stimulate me. That's my game. So I try to do that in my music. And there is a lot of hip-hop that doesn't get heard. You might have heard of Chance the Rapper. He actually won a Grammy award this year. You know? Yes, you're nodding. Oh, yeah, girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chance the Rapper, he's a preacher as well. He's not just a rapper. He goes around and he actually talks to people. He goes back to his own community. It was very impoverished. And he educates the children. They all do this, but you never hear about it. If you don't follow them, you don't know. You know, so there's a lot of voices behind the scenes that are doing a lot of great things in the community. You can get to know about that. So take that out of your head about hip-hop being like, you know, it is that, but it's also, you know, fighting for freedom of speech. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Answering.
Thank you. Look forward to meeting you all.